Welcome elected members, staff, guests and members of the public to the Ordinary Council meeting of the 12th of November 2025. I declare this meeting opened at 5:33. The City of Busselton acknowledges the Wardandi and Bibliman people as the traditional custodians of this region and pays their respect to their elders, past and present. This meeting is being audio recorded for minute-taking purposes and is also being live streamed on the City of Busselton YouTube channel. The prayer this evening will be read by Pastor Greg Farrell from Potter's House, and just remind people that mobile phones to be switched off. Pastor, if you'd like to...
Well, I'm here to pray for you all. And I just want to say, as part of the community, I appreciate leadership and I understand the role of leadership. And what we need is great leaders, and great leaders are great servants. And so I appreciate you guys and all that you do. And let us pray. Father, we just thank you for the oversight that you have of all of life. And we thank you for the gift of life that you've given every one of us. And Father, we thank you for the gifts that you give us, the inspirations that you give us, the initiatives you give us, the creativity that you give us. And we pray and just lay these before you for your service, for the service of this community, that you'd help every one of these that have come and represented you, these that have been chosen. We just ask that your hand would rest upon them, that you'd give them wisdom in all they do as they serve this community. I do pray for their strength, their physical strength, their health. I pray for their minds, God, that you'd keep them sharp and sober. And Father, we pray for their spirit, that you would just empower and invigor these, I pray, God, for the vigour of service that's needed. And I'm asking, Father, tonight as these would gather, we know that there's decisions to be made. We pray that there would be wise considerations, that would be good conclusions, and great decisions made for the benefit of all, for the benefit of the community. And I pray for the families of all these represented here tonight, that you just continue to help these, to strengthen them in all that they do. We ask your blessing on this meeting tonight and upon our community, in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. In attendance tonight, we have myself, Mayor Phil Cronin, Deputy Mayor Kate Cox, Councillor Mueller, Councillor Love, Councillor McNeish, Councillor Dijkstra, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Adams and Councillor Kennedy. We have two disclosures of interest, one from Councillor Dijkstra on an impartiality of disclosure on item 12.2, which is the Community Assistant Programme Assessment, which will be read prior to that item, and an item on second one is the CEO impartiality disclosure, item 19.1 on the 2025 CEO recruitment HR consultant, which will be read before that item. I now move on to public question time. In accordance to the City's meeting information session and decision-making process, the Council policy, public question time will be allocated a time of 15 minutes. I request that members of the public ask questions and limit the preamble to their questions. I will otherwise ask you just to put your question. Tonight we've received one request from public question time from Mr. Andrew Dickey.
Andrew Dickey from Busselton. Community members experienced in detecting artificial intelligence generated language have suggested that some officer recommendations and agenda items for debate have been drafted using AI software, and that at least one elected member uses AI software to write their speeches for agenda items for debate. Can you please confirm or deny these opinions?
Mr. CEO.
Thank you for your question. The use of artificial intelligence to assist officers in the work is supported by the City, subject to appropriate use guidelines. These guidelines include the requirement to evaluate and validate any outputs for accuracy and appropriateness. In relation to report writing, reports are drafted by professional officers using AI for research and to refine and enhance the report content. The use of AI by elected members is a matter for elected members. However, more broadly, I think it's vital that the city keeps pace with developments in and use of AI.
Thank you. I've got two other very short questions with no preamble whatsoever. The next question is, the sediment removal from stage 3 of the Lower Vass River was due to start in November. Is there any provisional date for the actual commencement?
I'll take that on notice, thank you.
And the third and last question is, will there be notice given to the residents living on that section of riverbank and to the business that is located on that section of riverbank prior to the commencement of work?
Sorry, yes, as in our normal procedures to do that anyway.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other further questions from the public? Sorry. Mr Sims, you wish to come forward.
Keith Sims, Busselton. Good evening, councillors, CEO and staff. And Mr Mayor, you've already preambled my first question because it was about preambling. So I will just make this from the Department of Local Government Regulations, page 7, Operational Guideline Managing Public Question Time, states on page 7, it should be recognised that it is not unusual for a person to preface a question with a statement or two, as this can clearly establish the basis for the question. I didn't quote it, but it did say it was up to the presiding officer to make sure it was a short preamble. But
Thank you.
thank you for
Clarifying.
so that was very short. So, second one, the Local Government Act S 2.8, the role of Mayor or President, states 1B, provides, this is that the Mayor or President, provides leadership and guidance to the community in the district. 1D speaks on behalf of the local government. So my question is, as the Mayor speaks on behalf of Council, then my question to him last week regarding the Vass River being a drain or not is actually to Council or not to you or him personally. Therefore, can my question be answered? Which I'll repeat the question if you wish.
Well, again, I think it was, as I highlighted last week, this is asking questions of council, not asking questions of an individual elected member. So therefore, you were given the answer last week, Mr CEO.
But that what I've read
Sorry.
is from the Local
I've just
Government
asked the CEO, please, Mr Sims.
I'm afraid, Mr Mayor, I'd need the question to be reposed because that's 2 weeks ago and I want to make sure I'm answering the exact question that was posed.
So I can ask the question, thank you. So do you want the preamble again or just the question? Can you please confirm for the community in this chamber what your current position is with the Vass River and if the city should continue contributing financially to its recovery and health? Because the preamble last 2 weeks ago was regarding comments about the Vass River being a drain.
I'm sorry, I'm still not clear what the question was. I thought the question last time you had posed was whether the council had determined a position that the Lower Vass River is a drain.
No, I didn't state it that way. What I said was that the Mayor had said 3 times, including on an ABC radio interview on the 6th of October, that he stated that the Vass River was a drain and should be left alone. That was what my preamble was, and my question was, please confirm for the community in this chamber what your current position on the Vass River, meaning the drain, if it is a drain, and if the city should continue contributing financially to its recovery and health.
There's no stated position that I've seen by the council in relation to the use of the term that you've referred to,
Yep.
or other aspects that you've also referred to.
Okay.
Thank you. Is there any further questions?
Well, yeah, I think it's answered in a point, partially, but
I
speak
said
on-
last week as well, if you wish to come speak to me, you can come and speak to me, but
I'm
I'm
asking
confused
it
why you don't.
now,
I won't,
as-
no, thank you.
you speak on behalf of the council, and I ask the council.
Well, I do.
Through you, is it still a
Okay,
draft?
thank you, Mr. Sims.
So you're not answering the
Mr.
question.
Sims, thank you. Appreciate your time. Are there any other further questions from the public? Please come forward.
Michelle Shackleton from Abbey. Can you please provide details of budgeted staff and operating costs per annum for the delayed opening of the BPAC?
Take that question on notice.
Thank you. Second question is there any authority allowing the savings that are made from the delayed opening to be spent elsewhere in respect of the annual budgets, or are the amounts quarantined for the council to divert to an alternative use?
All funds that are assigned by the council in the budget must be expended on that, or alternatively, the council makes a formal decision by absolute majority to modify it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions? Thank you. I will therefore move on. Sorry. Mr. Anderson, please.
Stuart Anderson, ratepayer Busselton. Just a quick question. Is this council broke? We going bankrupt, or do we have any money?
So your question is, does the council have any money?
Yeah, does it have any
CEO?
money? The reason why I asked that is
Sorry.
I put a request in. I'm not making a preamble, this is a question. I put a request in for a gazebo to be built in Victoria Square 12 months ago.
Okay, this might be something you want to come along to a CAS session, so you can ask a direct question if you wish. Please.
Well, the direct question is, what's happening about the gazebo?
That would be, I'm assuming, a decision of an officer report or...
I can answer that if you allow me
No,
to.
that's all right, thank you.
What's happening about the gazebo? Can somebody tell me what's
We'll
happening?
I'll take the question on notice because I don't know the answer, Mr. Anderson.
Thank you.
The other question is, the yacht club. I'm a member of the yacht club.
Which yacht club?
The Geograph Bay Yacht Club.
Thank you.
Sorry, corrected. That's the only one I think of in here. What's happening about the boat ramp? Can we get something done about that?
Sure. So the question is, what is happening about the boat ramp?
Yep. It needs to be fixed.
Sorry, thank you.
You don't know about the boat ramp?
I'll take it on notice.
Okay, thank you. Any further questions?
No, that's it.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. Anderson. Appreciate it. Any further questions? Right, I will now move on to item 8, which is the confirmation of receipt of the minutes, that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 29th of October 2025 be confirmed as a true and correct record. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Love, seconded Councillor Ryan. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried 9-0. Councillor Ryan.
I have a question on 8.2, if I may.
Can I put 8.2 up first? Sure. Thank you. Move on to item 8.2, which is the correction of the confirmed minutes of ordinary council meeting 24th September 2025. Councillor Ryan, you have a point of clarification?
Yes, if I may. I note that the recommended change doesn't include a report to council within 60 days. I'm just wondering how that dropped off.
Through the
Director Pearson?
Chair, there was an amendment, and that amendment actually, I think it was an amendment or alternative, it actually removed the 60 days, and that's what we need to correct. So what was actually moved, seconded and carried is what is written where the second bullet point, that's what was actually moved and carried. The 60 days was dropped out through that amendment process.
Thank you. Therefore, 8.2, do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Kennedy. Is there a seconder? Councillor Cox. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion carried 9-0. Just. Thank you. We now move on to items brought forward for adoption and exception resolution. The officer recommendation for item 14.1, 15.3 and 15.4 be adopted on block. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor McNeish, seconded Councillor Kennedy. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion carried 9-0. Thank you. So we now move on to item 13.1, requiring an absolute majority. That is the RFT 25-016 Busselton Highway resurfacing project. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Ryan, seconded Councillor Kennedy. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried 9-0. Item 5.1. This is where we will slow down a little bit, is the appointment of elected members to committees. Sorry, 12.2 I've got to move to. Sorry, I do apologise. I did wonder where it'd gone. My apologies. Did think that one was coming up first. Councillors, item 12.2. Well, I was going to, all right, we'll put that through first. Actually, I'll just put 12.2 through first, if I may, just so it's yeah. So I'll put 12.2, community assistance program. Yeah, I'll just put the community assistance program through first. Just because we've got that was pulled out en bloc, that was all. So, okay, item 12.2, if I may, which is the Community Assistance Program Assessment 2025-26, Round 2. Councillor Dijkstra, you have a...
Mr. Mayor, I declare impartial interest in item 12.2 as I currently hold the position of Treasurer for Uniting Outreach, which is an applicant in this round. Consequently, there may be a perception that my impartiality on the matter may be affected. I declare that I will consider the item solely on its merits and vote or act accordingly.
Thank you. Do I have a mover? Moved Deputy Mayor Cox, seconded Councillor Love. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Now move on to item 12.1. So we have an alternate. Sorry, I'm just bringing up the alternate. Thank you. So if you just scroll to the top, if you may. So we have an alternate recommendation. Which will go first? And this is from Councillor McNeish. Councillor McNeish, do you wish to put your motion?
Moved as written on the screen, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
A point of clarification,
Sure.
please. I'm unclear of what the actual difference is effectively of changing the term sufficient to sustaining and concealing.
So point of clarification would be the wording.
Yeah, just if you can just explain.
Sustaining of concealing.
Yeah.
I can do that in debate and focus on it.
Sure. Okay. Do I have the seconder? Sorry, seconder Councillor Kennedy. Is there opposition? There is opposition. Councillor McNeish, you speak to your...
Thanks, sir. Yes, and dealing with the question, good question. I thought the word sufficient was a bit light on. It's, you know, transferring a few words. Words actually mean something, particularly in planning. Shall to will, may, or something like that, or yes or no. I mean, words actually mean something. So I wanted to get a bit more direction, clarity, less ambiguity on what sufficient could be read as. So sustaining is quite directional, and concealing certainly is, because if you conceal something from view, you're purposely blocking it. So I thought just beefing up the word sufficient was important, because the prospect of living down here and driving through Vass, as I do every single week, a number of times, to see a sea of roofs, what an expression, that's powerful. And I've seen it on the freeway in Perth, north and south, and I just do not think that that kind of development, where gutters are almost touching each other, about half a metre apart, not a single tree in what's been a moonscaped landscape, is acceptable for our rural community. And I would hate to think that would be imposed on us. So, given that it seemingly is challenging for this local government to take under its own control the planning and the structure planning and the rezoning, where it ordinarily would under its own scheme, and we can prevent this kind of stuff, now we're facing a sea of roofs. Well, I'm sorry, if that eventuates, and I certainly hope it doesn't, but if it does, I want to be screened. I want that to be screened. And beefing up the words to be more than just sufficient, which is not clear to me, and sustaining, which it's screened from view, concealed from view, for as long as I'm on this earth, and that requires planning and canopy management and different species, well, so be it. But I'm looking forward to hearing from other councillors, given how confronting this development could be. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further point of clarification, if I could. This may be for Director Barber. Is there going to be any negative impact to changing the wording? Like if we go with, because the officer's comment says that allows for more flexibility, does Councillor McNish's proposed amendment restrict us at all?
Through the Mayor. I guess officer's view is sufficient is sufficient. And I probably find it a bit more ambiguous the way it's proposed to word. At the end of the day, though, it goes to the Commission and they will have their own opinion of wording and will possibly change it to something completely different if they feel there is another way of wording it, and that is what we will advertise.
Councillor Kennedy.
I am supportive of this amendment, and whilst words do mean something, the Planning Commission will also look at the intent of the planning provisions rather than the exact meaning of the words. In planning, we should apply flexibility and certainty. It should be on a scale. And where we can identify grey areas, I think it's very relevant to point out, and as Councillor McNish has just done, he's found the intent with what we want to do is conceal that sea of roofs. And so I'm supportive of this amendment and pretty happy for this one to go through. Thank you, elected members.
Thank you. Do I have a speaker against? Councillor Cox.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I'm rising to speak against Councillor McNish's alternative. However, after listening to debate, I may be compelled by greater powers to support it. I may also slightly exceed my time limit of 5 minutes, Mr Mayor, so with your indulgence, I may just go slightly over if that is okay with you. The role of the WA Planning Commission is to make planning decisions, and sometimes local governments and local communities do not agree with these decisions. However, it has now become apparent that the state government has recently made a conscious decision to impose legislative and policy changes without seeking much, if any, input from local government. In May 2019, the WAPC published the Lewin Naturalist Sub-Regional Strategy. The fundamental purpose of this strategy was to manage and plan for growth in the sub-region. The LNSRS identified 5 planning investigation areas, including Vass North, Vass South and the adjacent Abbey South, as land requiring further investigation as part of the strategic reconsideration of land use in the sub-region. In 2021, the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage, DPLH, on behalf of the WAPC, undertook a detailed investigation of the PIAs identified in the strategy to determine their suitability for a possible change of use. In April 2021, the WAPC resolved that the strategy be amended to remove all planning investigation areas and change the land use designation of Abbey South, Dunsborough East and Vass North. In relation to the Vass North planning investigation area, the WAPC resolved to amend the Lewin Nat sub-regional strategy to designate the following lots as urban: Lot 9001, Lot 9010, and designate the following lots as open space investigation, Lot S19 and Lot S20. The Vass South planning investigation area was removed. The findings and recommendations of the 2021 report were not disclosed or discussed with the City of Busselton or the community. They were confidential. Details of the WAPC report had to be obtained by the City in an FOI request. The report states, other than officer meetings to broadly discuss the PIAs, there has been no consultation with the City of Busselton during the preparation of the preliminary reports. It is recommended that the WAPC authorises the DPLH to brief local governments on the findings and recommendations of the preliminary reports. To my knowledge, this did not occur. The entire process of amending the Lewin Naturalist sub-regional strategy was concerning and problematic. Given that the WAPC was the actual decision maker in this case and was not making a recommendation to the Minister, why were the reports on the matter confidential? There was zero transparency. In response to the issue of confidentiality, David Caddy, Chairman of the WAPC, stated in a letter to Tony Nottall, then CEO, dated 11th of April 2023, regarding confidentiality, the WAPC is guided by transparency principles, whereby consideration of sub-regional strategies remains confidential so as not to prejudice the decision-making process of
Councillor
the Minister
Cox,
or
please
government.
sit down a second, please. I would remind the gallery, I'm listening to lots of conversations, papers being fluttered. We are in debate here. If you do wish to talk to each other, I'd please request you leave the gallery and just respect the councillors as they debate. Thank you. Sorry, Councillor Cox. I'll give you a little extra time now.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Findings in the report further stated that Vass North, lots S19 and S20 are constrained by environmental considerations attributable to the creek, notably flooding and drainage characteristics and including threatened or priority ecological communities. It is possible that the creek and associated wetlands could be ceded as a reserve or integrated into future development Vass North as linear parkland. Recommendation: designate lots S19 and S20 as open space investigation. Vass South, investigation of the inquiry area indicates that the land is relatively unconstrained. The consideration of basic raw materials could not be definitively determined with the available data. The LNSRS Residential Land Supply and Demand Assessment estimates that the existing supply of residential land in Vass is sufficient to accommodate forecast dwelling demand to 2039. This indicates that lands within the inquiry area, Vass South, is not required for urban purposes for the duration of the strategy. So why were the Vass North and Vass South areas given the same assessment against the basic raw materials criteria when the existing levels at Vass South were considerably higher? What was the data set that the WAPC used to identify that most of the land in the Vass North area is between 2.0 and 3.0 metres AHD, when information from DWER data set indicates that most of the land is below 2.0 metres AHD, with a significant portion below 1.5. So whilst Vass North is not within the city's char map area, the site is undoubtedly susceptible to coastal flooding risk. Why were the different criteria applied to the assessment of Vass South than were applied to Vass North? In particular, that additional urban land at Vass South was not needed to meet future land supply requirements, and that formed part of the rationale for removing Vass South from the LNSRS. But that issue was not considered for Vass North, and city officers considered that there was no reason to consider that Vass North is any more necessary than Vass South to meet future land supply requirements. The WAPC report asserts landowners and consultants with interests in the Abbey and Vass North PIAs have approached the WAPC via redacted and the DPLH advising that they consider those PIAs as suitable for urban purposes. The DPLH has received data from the interested parties to inform the investigation of those PIAs. Who were the interested parties supplying the data? It is important to highlight that the City did engage in the initial LNSRS process, and the City, conscious of the State Government's ambition to deliver housing supply, has in recent years supported growth areas within the City. Lot 6 Commonage Road, Abbey South and potentially Dunsborough East. The City and Council have continued to voice concerns to the WAPC, DPLH and Minister over the inclusion of Vass North and exclusion of Vass South in the LNSRS in 2023, 2024 and 2025. The concerns that were consistently raised included drainage, flood risk, landscape value protection, visual landscape separation between Vass and Busselton and basic raw material demand. In response to concerns raised by the City in 2023, Lyle Kenny, General Manager from land developer group Perrin Group, wrote to Tony Nottle, previous CEO, and stated, "We believe that the LNSRS was undertaken in an appropriate manner and the outcomes were based on sound planning basis." Further, the VDP, Vass Perrin Development, supports the decision made by the WAPC within the LNSRS in relation to the expanding of Vass Estate to include Vass North, and the VDP intend to progress this planning, preferably working collaboratively with the COB, the City of Busselton. However, if not, the VDP will pursue the avenues available to it to achieve the planning outcomes in accordance with the Lewin Naturalist Sub-Regional Strategy. A quote from Hatch Planning Consultants in the attached report to this recommendation. At a strategic level, Vass North has ideal attributes for urban development, including the land proximity to Vass Village, the availability of service infrastructure, and the developer's ability to undertake the development as an extension of the existing Vass Estate without adverse environmental or amenity impacts to the land or surrounding locality. It is disappointing to see the Commission's support for the development of Vass North and its apparent unwillingness to reconsider this position. Given that Vass North will require far more fill than has been indicated in the reports considered by the Commission and will pose a massive visual amenity issue as a result, there are no practical alternatives to the extensive use of fill at Vass North. In simple terms, the land is so low and flat. There is nowhere for the stormwater to go but down. So how the economics of this will work will be interesting, not to mention taking fill away from other developable areas, lessening the supply and driving the price up throughout the whole city, driving the price of housing up even further. So, councillors, the process of approving Vass North will be very, very interesting. And whilst I rise to speak against this, after listening to further debate, I may be compelled by the Minister to agree to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cox. Speaker 4. Councillor Ryan.
Yes, I'd like to speak for, and I agree with the sentiments of Councillor Cox, and I'm sure the community could run with the issue when the consultation goes out, because to have something such as this rammed down our throat is, to me, unacceptable. I personally take exception at the forcing of our city to do something which will make us like Joondalup or other areas which Councillor McNish referred to earlier. An article in today's West goes to the heart of the matter, and that is we are forced to allow this development, yet we will receive no funding from the state for schools and infrastructure, sport and rec facilities, yet apparently this is what we must have. Councillor Mish's point about the word sufficient, let me tell you what it says in the dictionary. Sufficient, enough to meet a need or purpose. Sustaining, keeping something going or maintaining over time. And concealing, hiding, covering up or preventing something from being seen, known or discovered. So I support Councillor McNish's alternate. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Speaker against? Councillor Cox, sorry, just your microphone. Speaker for? Councillor Muir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr Mayor, and thank you to my fellow councillors for your input. I speak tonight feeling somewhat bewildered and disappointed after being democratically elected by the people of Busselton to represent them, including on planning matters. It's disheartening that we find ourselves making a decision under instruction from the State Minister for Planning and under threat of action from the state if we don't comply. This comes despite the Council having already resolved to not pursue this amendment. That said, I intend to support the motion, not because I agree with the outcome it may lead to, but because I believe it is strategically the right step in response to the order we have received. By initiating the process to amend the local planning scheme, we retain control over the process for the time being, and we've been advised that failing to do so could see that control removed from us entirely. Importantly, initiating the amendment will also give our community the opportunity to have their say through public consultation. And finally, adopting this motion does not mean that the proposal is fait accompli. It simply allows the process to proceed to the stage where we can properly consider community feedback before any final decision is made. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mueller. Speaker against? Speaker for? Councillor Love.
I just wanted to express my support for Councillor McNish's alternative. I hold similar concerns as Councillor McNish has raised in his debate about the sea of roofs. If we can really push back on that, as we all know, we have tried to push back on this in its entirety, but unfortunately we are given a predicament where we have to abide by the Minister through the Planning Development Act 2005. It's disappointing to see that there hasn't been a true consultation period with our local community, but at least with us initiating this to advertising, we will get the feedback from the community, and hopefully that will be able to better inform our response to the minister. I'm cynical if that will affect or change his mind on things, but we can only but hope.
Speaker for. Speaker against. Councillor McNeish. No, not close. I'd just like to raise, just to say a few words, and really just to summarise the situation we find ourselves in. Under Section 76, the Minister has basically directed us to... Sorry, Councillor.
Sorry, I reluctantly raise a point of order. Are you speaking for or against, sir?
I likewise will be speaking for this motion. Thank you. And I'd just like to reiterate that we are being directed by the Minister under 76 to initiate this amendment. If we do not do this, if Council chooses not to do this, then that control will be taken away from us. In essence, what it'll mean is that we will lose all control of the process, the submissions that come back to us, and the ability to review those submissions, yet we will be paying for it. And I want the community to understand that if we did say no to this, that we rejected it, this would be the situation we find ourselves in. By agreeing to this motion, we will have some level of control. The community will then have their opportunity to raise their submissions. Their submissions will then go through our system. We will be able to review them. They will come back to Council, and then we can talk about these raised issues from our community. So I just wanted to make that very clear to the community why we are initiating this amendment. Thank you. Councillor, sorry.
Mr Mayor, may I just ask a quick question?
You may.
Of Director Barber. How unusual is it for the Minister to give a direction such as a Section 76 for a council to consider?
Through Mr Mayor, I haven't personally seen it occur before. I believe it's happened a couple of times, but it's relatively unusual.
Thank you. Councillor McNeish, your right of reply.
Thank you, sir. I won't be long. Very good debate. I have the ability now to rebut the opposing arguments. And for Deputy Mayor Cox's opposing argument, in my rebuttal, I can perhaps rebut her on the smidgen of considering the city's view, a whiff of community consultation, not a zephyr perhaps. I'm looking for my descriptions here of a slither of taking some advice from the council, you know, as a representative of the community that has to live here and drive past vast north, and the range of minutiae on the multitude of other factors that Councillor Cox so suitably raised. So thank you for the input and the support for this motion, and I hope it sends a strong signal to anyone who's interested in the well-being of this district. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McNeish. Therefore, I put the motion in front of you. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Item 13.1. Sorry, I did that one. So 15.1 and then, okay, sorry. My apologies. One of those days. Okay, we now move on to item 15.1, which is the appointment of elected members to committees. This will be taking some time. We'll be changing procedures. So, members, given the complexity of matters before us, for this item I am going to propose under 10.5 of the standing orders that the motion be treated as complex and broken down into the form of more than one motion. Firstly, I propose that for each council committee we firstly consider adoption of the terms of reference or proposal to disband. I will then seek a motion to suspend clause 8.1 of the standing orders, speaking twice, for the purpose of confirming nominations and voting for committee appointments, which I will hand over to governance staff to run. We will confirm / vote for committee appointments first, and then for the PM, the presiding member, and the deputy presiding member for each committee. So, firstly, terms of reference, which will come up on your screens. And there have been some changes. So, firstly, I'll put forward motion 1. Councillors, you clear of the process at this point, but do feel free to ask any questions. So, motion 1 is to disband the Finance Committee. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Love, seconded Councillor McNeish. Any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Absolute majority, 9-0. Thank you. Motion 2 is that the Council adopt the amended terms of reference for the Council's Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee as per Attachment 1. And Councillor McNeish will move this will move an amendment to this. So do I have a mover for this motion? Moved Councillor McNeish, seconded Councillor Mueller. Is there any opposition? There is no opposition, but I will let you speak to add your amendment. Sorry.
What is the amendment?
We can put that on the screen when Councillor McNeish has moved it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Clarifying, sir, I'm happy to move the original motion, and then I want to move an amendment, which is to change a small or one dot point. So just, if you'd like me to wait for a seconder for the original, and then I'll get up and
we had a seconder, right?
All right.
Councillor Ryan.
Okay. Can I move an amendment then, sir?
Sure.
And the amendment can be on the screen for governance, which would be to add a dot point to the terms of reference for the Audit, Risk and now Improvement Committee. That's just kind of exit stage left.
We are going to go slowly today. I think there's
That's okay.
to...
But while that's being recovered, the new legislation has not only given another aspect to this statutory committee called improvement, so the terms of reference need to appropriately reference that legislative reality, and to do so, rather than mess with the rest of the committee's terms of reference, which has served us well for the last year or two, just to add one dot point, which is to amend part 2.3V to read, to review and make recommendations in relation to identified continuous improvement opportunities. And the reason is to simply add...
So do I have a seconder for that amendment? Yep. Councillor Ryan. Is there any opposition to that amendment? Being no opposition, I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Okay, we're now on the substantive with this amendment that the Council adopt the amended terms of reference for the Council Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee as per Attachment 1. I actually need to continue debate on this one. I do understand that. So, well, if there was is there any opposition to this? If not, I will put the motion if you're happy with that. Thank you. I'll just put the motion. All those in favour? It's carried 9-0. Thank you for not doing a rebuttal. Motion 3 is that the council adopt. Should be adopted or adopt? Am I reading this wrong? It should be adoption. The council adopt the amended terms of reference for the Council Policy and Legislation Committee as per attachment 2. Do I have a mover? Councillor Muller. Seconded Councillor Kennedy. Is there any opposition? There is opposition. Councillor Muller, do you wish to put your motion? You'll learn.
As written.
Thank you. Sorry.
As written.
Thank you very much. Councillor Kennedy, do you wish to speak?
Reserve my right.
Thank you very much. Speaker against? Councillor McNeish.
Just quickly, the terms of reference are fine. It's a well-functioning committee and it's going to continue on. That's good. But there was one matter that I saw in the terms of reference that I've forgotten about. And if that could... yes. Well done, thank you. That it required, the terms of reference required 5 members and 4 deputies, thus, this is probably the wrong word, forcing, but thus requiring every member of the council to be, effectively, could be a part of this committee. And now that leaves no room for any member to decline their membership. As we have seen this afternoon, there are some who have declined to be members. So it's a technicality, but I think the terms of reference should be amended to not have to force any elected member to be part of the committee they just don't want to be. The words that I proposed some time ago, thank you. Yeah, so I thought that could bring it back to council will appoint 2,
members.
there it is, wonderful. Council will appoint 2 elected members as deputy members of the committee. Now, that might be altered in discussion tonight, given the realities of committee membership and people who have applied for things this afternoon. And I'm certainly open to that being changed, but I just want to be clear that I don't want to have the terms of reference requiring everyone to be a member, because that's just, I think that would be unlawful or unfair. Thank you.
Councillor Kennedy, do you agree to that amendment?
No, through the chair, you need a seconder for that amendment.
Yeah, that's what happened last time. So I have a seconder then for that amendment. Do I have a seconder? I have seconded Councillor Love. Is there any opposition? Being... Okay. There is opposition. Councillor McNeish, do you wish to speak to your amendment?
I've probably said it all, but look, nothing further to add. Just, it is a technicality, and I just think we can run through the terms of reference and make this change in accordance with the legal advice we got a couple of years ago, and just tighten things up. Thank you.
Councillor Michaela Love.
Just that I concur with Councillor McNish, given that the legal advice that was provided to us 2 years ago when we last did our committee appointments, we had that instance of everyone was to be appointed of the behavioural committees, behavioural complaints committee, and we found that to be not ethically lawful, or we were provided legal advice that we weren't able to actually enforce that. So given that we were given that legal advice, I commend Councillor McNish for his pickup and urge councillors to support it.
Thank you. Point of clarification, Mr. CEO. If it did say, just for clarity, if it said 4 deputies, would we be forced to put 4 people on because it's in the terms of reference?
People could decline to participate, but from my perspective, if there's not 4 people that want to go on, let's move on.
Thank you. Speaker against? Councillor Kennedy.
Yeah, I actually wanted this to go through as quick as possible because persuade to, well, if Councillor McNish gets to carry on, so I'm going to also take the
Point of
opportunity.
order.
But yeah, I mean, pursuant to legal advice, the council cannot force any elected member to jump on board. So essentially, we have a committee here. If you want to be deputy, jump on. If you don't, you don't. I don't see the need to change the terms of reference. I think there's more flexibility with the current terms of reference, and we just leave it as is. So I would be encouraging that we don't follow through with this amendment.
Speaker for. Speaker against. Councillor McNish. Sorry, Councillor Love, you reserved your right, did you? Oh, you did speak, sorry. Councillor McNish, your rebuttal.
Only that where we get legal advice that wasn't cheap, and never is, that we should probably learn from it and tighten up a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. Therefore, I put the amendment forward. All those in favour? That's Deputy Mayor Cox, Councillor Mueller, Councillor Love, Councillor McNish, Councillor Dykstra, Councillor Ryan and Councillor Adams. Those against? Councillor Kennedy and Mayor Cronin. The amendment's carried. I will now return to the substantive. Speaker against. Speaker for. Councillor Kennedy, you were the seconder. You reserved your right.
Yeah, I'll still reserve my right.
Thank you.
Is that right?
Don't speak. Councillor McNish, your rebuttal.
Nothing to add, sir.
Thank you. Therefore, I put the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Absolute majority. Thank you, Councillor Kennedy. Motion 4, is that the council adopt the amended terms of reference for the council's CEO Performance Review Committee as per attachment 3. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Love, seconded Councillor Cox. Is there opposition? Councillor McNish. Councillor Love, do you wish to?
Can I ask a question?
Point of clarification.
Point of clarification. Is it possible for the mover to request alteration of this motion to 9 members with consent of the seconder?
It is possible, but these terms of reference for this committee already provide for 9 members.
Okay.
Or up to 9 members, yeah.
So.
Right, thank you.
Who moved that?
Clarification, sir.
Yes, Councillor McNish.
Can you put that question you asked for, any speakers for or against, can you put that again, please? Because I've just been informed that one of my amendments doesn't actually apply to this. It already included all the people.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's been moved by Councillor Love, seconded by Councillor Cox. We then got an interjection. So are there any speakers against? Is there any opposition? There's now no opposition, therefore I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion carried 9-0. Thank you. Absolute majority. So the motion at the top is the next one, just so I can, because I'm getting confused there. Okay. If we can just keep it, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Motion 5 is that the council adopt the amended terms of reference for the council's Waterway Management Committee as per attachment 4. If we can have attachment 4 up, let's see what the changes are. Or is that going to be too difficult? Like I said, there's no rush. The public need to be able to see what we're debating. So, is that okay? Or we do. Yeah. Sorry, I'll just ask Mr. Murphy for a summary, if I may.
So the only change in this terms of reference was just to outline that presiding members are required to be appointed by the council, as opposed to the old method of doing it by the committee.
And the reason for that?
That was due to the changes to the Local Government Act requiring that presiding members be appointed directly by council.
And that'll be the case for every...
That change is proposed in all the committee terms of reference. There were some other minor changes potentially in some of the other terms of reference as well.
Okay, thank you. Right, so we have motion 4 that the council adopt the amended terms of reference for the council CEO Performance Review Committee as per attachment 3. Do I have a... Right. I'm reading attachment 4 and reading motion 4. My apologies. That the council adopted the amended terms of reference for the council's Waterway Management Committee as per attachment 4. Do I have a mover? Moved, Councillor Love, seconded, Councillor Manish. Any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0, absolute majority. Thank you. That was motion 5. Waterways. And then, so then this is motion 7?
Yeah.
Okay.
One's on the screen.
Okay. Sorry, I've got a different copy to what's on the screen. Okay, motion 6 is that the council adopt the amended terms of reference for the council's Meelup Regional Park Committee as per attachment 5. May I ask that during the meeting amendments, we will change that to adopt rather than adopted. Thank you for all those, just so that we are clear. I've requested that. Do I have a mover? Okay, sorry, we need attachment 5. Yep. If we can have a summary of attachment 5. Thank you. Just for the point of the gallery and those watching on YouTube, this is the first time we've been carried out this process this way. Normally it's done slightly differently, so please bear with us.
Would you like something?
Yes, please, if you could, Mr. Murphy.
So as per the last one, the only change recommended in this terms of reference is they pointing out that the presiding members are appointed directly by council as per 512 of the Act. The only other change that these ones had as well was we just put it into the updated template.
Thank you. Therefore, I put forward...
Ask a question, please?
You may, Councillor Ryan.
Has that one got committee on the top too? Is it one of the ones that I raised?
We'll make those amendments. So just for the benefit of elected members, Councillor Ryan has suggested a range of minor administrative matters to a range of these terms of references. They're not substantive in nature, but things like adding committee to the end of the Meelup Regional Park title, adding committee to the end. So we'll make those administratively at the conclusion of the process.
Thank you. So, do I have... Mr. CEO?
That's right.
So, microphone. Oh, sorry.
The item off the screen.
Sorry.
Can we just leave the attachments up, please, while the vote's taken? Thanks.
Thank you. Therefore, do I have a mover for motion 6? Councillor Love, seconded Councillor McNeish. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0, absolute majority. Motion 7. so that we establish a strategic projects committee under section 5.8 of the Local Government Act 1995 with the terms of reference as per attachment 6. Yep, thank you. No rush.
There you go.
And I assume these have those changes in the Act, as in they were added anyway, so.
This is a proposed new committee, so the whole terms of references are brand new.
Sure, thank you. Excuse me. Do I have a mover for motion 7? Move Councillor McNeish, seconded Councillor Muller.
Question, if I may, that's got the number changed.
Councillor McNish, sorry, is going to move an amendment to change that.
Right.
So once this is in play, there'll be an amendment moved.
So move McNeish, seconded. Okay. Councillor McNeish, do you wish to put your motion?
Thank you, sir. I put it as read and give an indication that I'll be moving an amendment.
Sorry, we've got a second already, so is there any opposition? I'll let you speak to the motion.
The terms of reference has the same issue that the council resolved before, where it specifies that a certain elected member shall be a part of the committee, and I'm not for one saying that person the mayor should not be a part of the committee. In fact, should be a part of the committee, but it should be done by exercising his right under the Act and announcing that. So given that the interest and was encouraging to see the interest in this committee has been very popular. My amendment was to amend part 3.1 to read, the council should appoint at least 5 elected members to the committee. I think that still holds, given what we're trying to achieve as per this afternoon, but also deals with the issue of the legal advice, not forcing anyone. Thank you.
Councillor McNish, just to clarify, was your amendment to amend the membership so it's to appoint up to 9 elected members now, given the interest, rather than 5?
What a good idea.
Up to 9?
Up to 9, or at least 5, perhaps up to 9 would be advisable. Thank you.
Is there a seconder for that amendment? Councillor Ryan? Do you wish to speak to that amendment? Councillor Ryan, do you wish to speak? Is there any opposition? There being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. We now return to the substantive that includes those amendments. And also, if we can look at the attachment 6 again, please. Speaker against? Speaker for? Councillor Muller, do you wish to? You've reserved your right.
Nothing further.
Thank you. Councillor McNeish? You have no rebuttal.
Yes, nothing further. Thank you.
Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion's carried 9-0, absolute majority. Thank you, councillors. Now, motion 8. That the council adopt the amended terms of reference for the council's Bushfire Advisory Committee as per attachment 7. Sorry. And would you like to summarise those changes, Mr. Murphy? Or are they the same? Oh, no.
Sorry, those ones may have been made by the bushfire team. Mr. Barber, do you have any further information? I believe they did go through the Bushfire Advisory Committee for review prior to being recommended to council.
Sure. Councillors have had the opportunity to see this. Therefore, is there a mover for this? Councillor Love, seconded. Councillor Dykstra. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion's carried 8-0. Motion 9, that the council adopt the amended terms of reference for the council's local emergency management committee as per attachment 8. I'm sure councillors have had the chance to see this attachment. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Adams, seconded Councillor Love. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion's carried. Sorry, Councillor Adams, did I? Sorry. Councillor, 8-0. Thank you. Okay. I will allow Councillor McNeish to return, but I will at this point say we are now moving on to the appointment of members in accordance with 5.104 of the Act. I declare as Mayor that I wish to be a member of the following committees and as such will be appointed: to Audit, Risk and Improvement, the CEO Performance Review and Strategic Projects Committee. Motion 9, I seek a motion to suspend clause 8.10 of the standing orders, speaking twice, for the purpose of confirming nominations and voting for all other committee appointments. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Kennedy, seconded Councillor Love. Is there any opposition to that? If not, I put that motion. All those in favour? Motion carried 9-0. I will now hand over to governments and we will go committee by committee.
Okay, so we need for each committee to elect a presiding member and then a deputy presiding member. For a number of committees, or one committee, we also need to elect members through vote because we have more nominations than membership positions. So if we start with Audit, Risk and Improvement, for Audit, Risk and Improvement, we have 5 members who have nominated: Mayor Cronin, Councillor Mueller, Councillor McNish, Councillor Ryan and Councillor Adams. Given the membership provides for 5 members, all of those members would be proposed to be appointed, and we'll put that into the motion to follow. For the presiding member of the Audit, Risk and Improvement Committee, do we have any nominations for the...
Just to clarify, in the recommendation, we have the recommendation for Audit, Risk and Improvement.
Oh, sorry,
for the
yes,
independent
sorry. Scrap that. Presiding member will be our independent appointed person, so we'll move on. Policy and Legislation Committee meeting. We have 5 member positions and now 2 deputies, and we have nominated Councillor Cox, Councillor Mueller, Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra, Councillor Adams as members, and deputies Councillor Kennedy and Mayor Cronin, so that completes that committee. In terms of presiding member of that committee, do we have any nominations for presiding member of that committee?
Excuse me, Mr Mayor.
Sorry.
May I move a procedural motion for a brief recess for one of the members to leave the room for a moment?
For an adjournment.
For an adjournment.
Okay.
Have to move a motion.
I'll move a motion. So do you wish to move that motion?
I can move the
pun.
motion.
Sorry.
I can move the motion. I'm happy to move.
That we adjourn? Sure. Is
For
there
a
a
period
seconder?
Till what time?
To be honest, let's give it 5 just so we can get on top of a couple of things here, if that's all right.
For 10 minutes.
So we'll be back. 5 minutes is enough? So we'll be back at 4:53. 18:53. Thank you, councillors. Sorry, we'll vote on that. Sorry, I'm just... Okay, so we have a mover, we have a seconder. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour, the motion's carried 9-0. Thank you. Thank you, councillors. We'll resume this meeting at 18:53. We now move on to
Would
Yes,
you like
sorry,
me
I
to continue?
thought-
Yep,
yep,
we
we
need
were
to
running this.
continue with this. So Policy and Legislation Committee, do we have nominations for the presiding member of that committee?
I would like to nominate for the presiding member for Policy and Legislation Committee.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations for presiding member for that committee? If not, then we will insert Councillor Love as presiding member of that committee. All of this is to be resolved on formally once we come back into full standing orders. So we'll insert that into the document now, ready for you to vote on that.
Okay.
Yep. Deputy presiding member of the Policy and Legislation Committee. Do we have any nominations for deputy presiding member? No? Yep. Councillor Dykstra? Yep. Do we have any other nominations for deputy? If not, we'll insert Councillor Dykstra as Deputy Presiding Member for the Policy and Legislation Committee. Okay, CEO Performance Review Committee. We have provision for up to 9 members, and we have nominations from Mayor Cronin, Councillor Cox, Councillor Mueller, Councillor Love, Councillor McNish, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Adams and Councillor Kennedy. We do therefore have a membership. We don't need to go to vote for that, but we do now need to vote on a presiding member. Do we have any nominations for presiding member for the CEO Performance Review Committee?
I'd like to nominate Councillor McNish.
Councillor McNish, do you accept that nomination? Do we have any other nominations for CEO Performance Review presiding member?
Yes, please, Director Pearson. I'd like to nominate
Councillor Cox. Do we have any other nominations for presiding member? Okay, if not, we have 2 nominations from Councillor. We have Councillor McNish and Councillor Cox. We will now need to vote on that. So governance will hand around some slips. On those slips is the listing of all elected member names. On each of your slip, you will need to tick either Councillor McNish or Councillor Cox to indicate which member you would like as as presiding member of the CEO Performance Review Committee, and then we will collect those and tally them up.
Clarification, we were offered a 2-minute speech.
Oh, sorry. Yes, my apologies. You were.
Any
yes.
votes that have occurred
Sorry,
today
yeah. So
should be
prior to
cancelled?
undertaking that voting, we have offered each of the nominees 2 minutes to talk about why they should be the presiding member. So, Councillor McNish.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be nominated to continue to chair the CEO Performance Review Committee. It's been, it's morphed over the last couple of years. It was a committee of 3 in attending. There was a bit of confusion as to the membership. And I didn't think that was fair and good enough, and led the charge to convince the council to to change terms of reference and to increase the membership to all elected members, because I felt such an important role for that committee should be attended by all elected members. And fortunately, the council adopted those new terms of reference, and I was elected the chair. So I've always been trying to include elected members in what I call the motivating aspect of its role in the oversight of the CEO's performance. And that happens by structuring a contract, having KPIs that are motivating and interesting for the CEO. I can talk with direct experience in having been the CEO for 12 years and having negotiated contracts and being very interested in setting and receiving the KPIs. Setting for recommending to the council and receiving what they gave me back. So it's unusual that you have someone who's now seeing the life in this matter from both sides of the fence, and that enables me to be rather balanced in my application of chairing the meeting. I've enjoyed chairing the meetings and bringing everyone together in being involved in the CEO's performance. And
10 seconds.
Yep. And so I look forward to your support and your vote to continue on being the chair. Thank you.
Okay. It's not me. I'm not running.
Thank you, councillors. I'll keep this very, very short. I'm experienced at chairing committees. I have chaired, in the last few years, I've chaired nearly every committee that I've been on. I remain calm under pressure. I'm impartial. I like to keep councillors on task. I don't like to divert. I don't like to go off track. So I find the meetings that I chair are fairly succinct, whilst everyone gets their say. I think I'm fair, and I think that I can do a good job at chairing this meeting. I have been on this committee for a number of years, although not recently, but prior to that I have been on this committee for about 4 years, so I'm familiar, obviously, with the committee. So therefore I think I'm well placed to chair this committee. Thank you.
Okay, on the slips in front of you, if you can please tick one of Councillor McNish or Councillor Cox, we will then collect them and tally the votes. The result is Councillor Cox is appointed the presiding member. Do we have nominations for deputy presiding member? So, Mayor Cronin. Do we have any other nominations for deputy presiding member? Yep, Councillor Kennedy. Okay. We will follow a similar process. We will distribute voting slips. I don't think were we allowing deputies to speak? There's no chance to speak as deputies, so if you can just on your voting slip, please select whether you vote for Mayor Cronin or Councillor Kennedy. So councillor Kennedy will be the deputy presiding member. If we move to the Waterways Management Committee, so we have an appropriate membership. We have Councillor Ryan, Councillor Adams, Councillor Kennedy, with the deputy as Councillor Mueller. We will also, for the Waterways Management Committee, have other persons. So we will likely need to leave the appointment of the presiding member and the deputy presiding member until those other persons are appointed. I'm just checking. I'm not sure.
I think the
Does it
terms
say
of
when a
reference
vote
says it can only be
an
the
elected member?
Elected member.
Okay, it does. Yep. All right. So we will do a vote. So do we have a nomination for presiding member of the Waterways Management Committee?
I'd like to nominate for that.
Councillor Ryan. Do we have any other nominations for the presiding member? If not, we will insert Councillor Ryan as the presiding member for the Waterways. Do we have any nominations for the deputy presiding member for the Waterways? Yep. Councillor Mueller. No, you're not on the committee. Any other nominations? Bearing in mind, it's a may appoint, not a must appoint, deputy presiding members. So if we don't have any nominations, we can proceed. But Councillor Kennedy, you are nominated as a member. So deputy presiding member, Councillor Kennedy. Any others? No? Okay. So deputy presiding member, Councillor Kennedy. Presiding member, Councillor Ryan. Sorry, I'm just going to check who we've got. Oh, yeah, no, you're deputy. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so Meerlut Regional Park Committee. We have 2 members as per the terms of reference, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Adams. We have no current deputies, but we can proceed without. Is there anyone who does want to be a deputy on second thoughts? No? Okay, we will proceed without a deputy. Presiding member of the Meerlut Regional Park Committee, that one is... can be another person, so we will need to leave that until we have appointed all of the other persons to the Meerlut Regional Park Committee, which we'll need to bring forward in a separate report.
I'm happy to go deputy on the...
Happy to go deputy? Okay, so we'll add deputy of Councillor Kennedy, deputy member. Okay, so we will defer appointment of presiding members for that committee. Strategic Projects Committee. So we have all 9 members have nominated for that committee, and we have a membership of 9. Presiding member. Do we have any nominations for the presiding member of the Strategic Projects Committee?
I would like to nominate for that.
Okay, so we have a nomination from Councillor Love, Councillor McNish. Sorry? No, so Councillor Love and Councillor McNish. Any other nominations for presiding member? Okay, we will, while we distribute the slips, we will allow both Councillor Love and Councillor McNish to talk for 2 minutes. So Councillor Love.
I haven't prepared anything, just that I want a bit more experience chairing the committees. I'm quite confident in my abilities as a councillor now that this is my 2nd term. But yeah, I'm just seeking to chair some committees to get that further experience as well. And I urge all councillors to vote for me. Thank you.
Thanks, sir. I have experience in chairing audit and risk and CEO performance, and I note that we're having a bit of a spread of chairs, which is probably a good thing, actually. And of course, Mayor Cronin chairs the council, and I would hope he would chair CEO selection, but I'm not, saying anything. And I note that Councillor Love will be chairing policy and legislation, which has been a well-run committee and an excellent committee, and I hope she continues on the good work there. I've spoken about my chairing objectivity and inclusivity before, and as far as strategic projects go, the content of what the committee is going to be talking about, I note just quickly that I was the Executive Officer for the Minister for Sport on the report of redevelopment of Subiaco Oval. I was a consultant with the WA Ministry of Sport and Recreation on stadiums and facilities, civil engineering degree and grad cert planning, Master of Sustainability and Master of Business Administration that will all help in the content of this committee. And I'm a proprietor of self-funded developments and subdivisions. So I have direct project experience. Thank you very much.
Okay, if members could please select one of Councillor Love or Councillor McNish for presiding member. So Councillor McNish will be the presiding member of the Strategic Projects Committee. For deputy member, do we have any nominations for deputy presiding member?
I'm happy to nominate for deputy presiding member. Thank
Do
you.
I have any other nominations for deputy presiding member? If not, we'll put Councillor Love in as deputy presiding member for that committee. Okay. Bushfire Advisory Committee. So Bushfire Advisory Committee has one member and one deputy member. We have two nominations for the Bushfire Advisory Committee membership from Councillor Mueller and Councillor Ryan. So if those two members wish to continue to nominate for that committee, we will need to go to a vote for that committee. Yep. No, Councillor Ryan, you're happy to withdraw your... Okay, so Councillor Mueller as member and Councillor Ryan as deputy member of that committee. Okay, that means we won't go to a vote. That's great. We won't appoint now. What does terms of reference say for that committee? Can we? It's this.
Inquiry that's the.
Yeah. Have we changed? We haven't changed that. No. Yep.
No.
Yep. Yeah. So we won't need to do that one. Local Emergency Management Committee. We have two. We have the Mayor, the Deputy Mayor as members, and we have nominations from two deputies, Councillor Mueller and Councillor Kennedy, which we will appoint as two deputies. So again, there's no need to go and do presiding members or deputy presiding members for those. So I think we're done with committees. If we could just perhaps have a quick scroll back through what we would propose is that moving forward, when we go back into full standing orders, there will be a motion to put all of this into effect. That motion will be that the council appoints those members on screen to the Audit and Risk Committee, noting that we do have no deputies for the Audit and Risk Committee, but as long as the council's happy to proceed on that basis with no deputies. Also appoints then candidate A in the confidential attachment as the presiding member and candidate B as the deputy presiding member. Policy and legislation.
When are we going to agree to that?
So when we go back into full standing orders, this motion will be put and you will vote on it.
Just the members or those other?
Or as one
independent.
motion, yes.
What if we don't agree?
Yep, so we can, what we'll do is we'll put that motion as one, and then if you want to move an amendment or an alternative.
I don't necessarily, I just want to ask questions.
Yeah, so that's okay, we can, But obviously if there are amendments or alternatives, people can move them when we move that. So what we'll do is we'll move the Audit and Risk Committee motion on its own. Then we will move another motion, which is for the remainder of the committees. So Policy and Legislation Committee, on the screen. So just checking that we've got everything written as we expect to see.
Sorry, can I just get a point of clarification? I still don't quite understand with the Audit and Risk Committee. So
Yep.
if we vote it as is,
Yep.
does it automatically include candidate A?
Yes, candidate A in the attachment, the confidential attachment that
Yep.
was circulated, yes,
Okay.
it would automatically include candidate A
Okay.
as the presiding member, and it would include candidate B as the deputy presiding member. So if there are any concerns about those two candidates, then we'll need to move into debate. Yeah. Then we'll move another motion which deals with the rest of the committees. So Policy and Legislation Committee, as on the screen. CEO Performance Review Committee, as on the screen. If we can just check that we've got that as we expected. Yep. Waterways. So we don't have a Deputy Presiding Member. That was yourself, Councillor Kennedy. MEALA. Strategic Projects. And then Bushfire and LEMAC. Any questions?
Can I just ask a further question about the independent members? Shouldn't that be a confidential item?
The attachment was confidential, unless there are questions if there are questions about those members, we will need to go behind closed doors. So I guess, if I'll leave the presiding member to ask that. Okay, I'll hand back over to the Mayor to move back into full standing orders.
Okay. So do I need to run a motion that we come out of? Yes. Yeah. 5.10, 10.8? Sorry. 10.8. 8.10, sorry. Okay, so I now move a motion to reinstate section 8.10. It's not there. Sure. 8.10. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Love, seconded Councillor Muller. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion's carried 9-0. Thank you. We are now back in full standing orders. I now move on to motion Motion 12, that the Council adopts the following committees and presiding members and deputy presiding members and deputies. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor McNeish, seconded Councillor Muller. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion carried 8. Sorry.
Just go back down to just the Audit and Risk Committee one. We're just doing Audit and Risk Committee at the moment, this one. The whole thing? That whole 1, 2 and 3.
Okay. Sorry.
I just, the issue that I had was the candidates were really, they were excellent. I just wondered why there was so much interest in a committee which pays $450 for a sitting fee, and noting that I think I can't remember whether candidate B lived down here or but candidate A doesn't, and I want to feel reassured that they're not going to be sitting on a Zoom call chairing a meeting, and what ramifications are there? How is it in the contract that they will sign, or what that they can assure us that they won't be zooming into the meetings?
I'll answer the first question in relation to why so many people are taking an interest, and then I'll leave it to the Director to outline the conversations that were had with the individuals, because I didn't participate in that part. The interest that people are showing in the local government audit to be independent members is firstly, you can be appointed as the presiding member, and that becomes a pretty good badge of honour for your professional CV. And that is particularly encouraging for people in commercial accounting firms, either Australian Society of Accountants or chartered accountants, to have that to your CV, so that becomes important. The scope and exposure you get from local government entities that are broad gives you considerable exposure to all kinds of things you wouldn't get necessarily in a straight commercial scene. And from conversations that I've had with other people appointed to positions in local government, they also see it as an opportunity for some of them to be on the audit committees of several individual local governments, which gives them a broader experience than perhaps you'd get just with an individual councillor in that position. In terms of the agreement and the understanding about people participating in person as distinct from online, I'll leave that to the Director.
So in discussions with both candidates, both indicated that they would be looking to attend meetings in person, including the candidate nominated for presiding member. We can't, there's not really a provision to write that into any sort of contract per se, but they have indicated a willingness to attend in person. Also remembering that there is a limit to how many meetings people can attend online as well as committee members. So that would provide some limit on that too.
What would that be for?
It's 50%. 50% of meetings that you can only attend remotely.
So if we had two per year, then they can only attend
one. Yes, that's right. But as I said, they have indicated willingness and desire to attend in person.
Okay. And just another question, if I may. On the audit committee, I think it was the OAG guidelines that are they still in play? And
so the better practice guidelines are still current, and they are one of the guidance material that you can use for your audit and risk. The terms of reference, however, is the key guidance for your committee.
Okay. So do we have a mover for motion 12? We've got one.
I have written down that it was moved by Councillor McNish and seconded by Councillor Mueller.
Okay. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion's carried 9-0. Thank you. If council are happy, I'll move the rest of the motions en bloc. Don't need to move a motion for that. Do I have I'll move it. Seconder to move en bloc. Thank you, Councillor Mueller. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Therefore, I now move items, should we say the motions, the numbers?
So probably working groups.
Okay. Okay, we now move on to the motion. Working groups?
We may just need a little bit of time to write that up. Perhaps if I can just read out where we've got to with working groups, sure, while that can be typed up into the motion. So for community assistance panel, so Carmel, are you good to type as we go? Yep. So community assistance panel, we have 3 member nominations. So Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra, Councillor Adams. We have 1 deputy but no nomination for deputy, so we will leave deputy position vacant unless there is a nomination for deputy at this point for that community assistance panel. No, so we've got Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Adams. Okay, so we do not need to do, obviously, presiding member appointments for these working groups, so we'll keep moving. Busselton Jetty Reference Group. The proposal is for 3 members, Councillor Love, Councillor Ryan and Councillor Kennedy. And 1 deputy, Councillor Mueller. Councillor Kennedy as the final, and then Deputy Councillor Mueller. Disability Access and Inclusion Plan Reference Group. We have membership nominations from Councillor Cox and Councillor Adams, and deputy from Councillor Kennedy. Which meets the terms of reference or the requirements. Business Development and Events Marketing Reference Group. We have member nominations from Councillor Cox, Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Ryan. And a deputy member nomination from Councillor Mueller. And we've discussed increasing the membership to suit that. Councillor, have you got that? Sorry, it's Councillor Cox, Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Ryan is that last one. And then the deputy is Councillor Mueller. And then the Meala Regional Park Working Group, we have the same membership as the committee. So that is Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Adams with the deputy of Councillor Kennedy. If we keep going on to the external groups, we have a member nomination for the Parent Naturalist Partnership of Councillor Kennedy with deputy of Councillor Love. Regional Road Group, we have a member nomination of Councillor Ryan and the deputy being Councillor Kennedy. And then if we go to the Southwest Zone, we have the deputy member nomination for the Southwest Zone as being Councillor Love. If we then move to the ministerial, the Development Assessment Panel we will need to do a vote for, so we'll come back to that one. The Yallingup Land Conservation District Committee, we have Councillor McNish having nominated for that. The ministerial task.
Sorry, through the chair. Councillor Love has expressed a massive desire to take that one on.
Has someone backed off?
Okay, so we'll go Councillor Love. So Councillor Love will slid in there. Vast Ministerial Task Force, we have the member nomination from Councillor Ryan and deputy member Councillor Mueller. So back to the Development Assessment Panel, we have 2 membership positions and 2 deputy membership positions. We have nominations for membership from Councillor Cox, Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Kennedy. Just confirming all 4 wish to maintain their member nominations for DAP. Yep. Okay. All right, we will need to move to a vote, so we'll get some voting slips handed out again for this one. If you can tick 2 members of either, just to repeat, Councillor Cox, Councillor Love, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Kennedy.
It's 2 crosses. Couldn't have made a mistake.
Hang on, there's one here. Stevie.
Hope no one saw you. None. Have we missed one? No. So I'll move this on block, but I don't say which motion. It's normally I'd say which motions I'm moving on block.
The motion as on was printed on the screen.
All right, is that just the one?
So the two members for DAP will be Councillor Cox and Councillor Love. We require two deputy members. We have no nominations for deputy members. Do we have any nominations given that for deputy? Councillor Kennedy, nomination for deputy. Councillor Dykstra, nomination for deputy. Do we have any other nominations for deputy? If not, we'll put in Councillor Kennedy and Councillor Dykstra as deputy. Yes. I don't think they have a deputy. No. Councillor, they don't have the yelling up, no. Yep. Okay, so that, I'll hand back over to the Mayor. That's the motion written up there
Thank you.
for everything.
So we have motion 16. So I'll just do these again on block. So from 16. Okay, all right. If everyone's happy to do those working groups, external groups and ministerial committee EOIs, I will have a mover for that. To move on block, thank you. Moved on block, seconded on block. Is there any opposition? Who moved it? Sorry, moved Councillor Mueller, seconded Councillor Adams. Is there any opposition? There being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried 9-0, absolute majority. I need absolute. Cool. Okay, that completes item. That's the committees completed. I now move on to item 15.2, the establishment of the CEO Selection Committee.
Point of clarification through
Certainly,
the chair.
Councillor.
My understanding from having read when that was scrolling up and down was that we had a motion 14 of disbanding certain committees too. Are we voting on that as well?
Of the working groups, I think that was in that motion. We probably didn't point it out, sorry.
No, from my reading of this, it was broken into a different motion.
Yeah, so I think the Mayor moved them on block, but you're right, we weren't very explicit about that. That one there was included in what was just moved.
And so further to that on block, was it motion 14, motion 15, motion 16? Because you have split
I
it
think
up
for the
into-
sake, but now that you've raised it, let's move motion 14 separately now, so it's very clear.
Sure. Okay, therefore, I'll now put the motion 14 that the council discontinue the following reference groups as highlighted on the screen. I have a move of Councillor Love, seconded Councillor Manish. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion carried 9-0, absolute majority. Thank you, Councillor. We'll now move on to item 15.2, the establishment of the CEO Selection Committee. Do you wish to continue?
Yeah,
Thank
so we have nominations for that committee. We have the Mayor, who will be appointed and pursuant to section 5.104 of the Act. We have Councillor Cox, who's nominated, Councillor McNish, Councillor Dykstra and Councillor Ryan. So of those 4 member nominations, we have 3 remaining positions. So with 4 nominations, we will need to go to the vote. Yep, so we'll hand out some voting slips. No, not this one. That was the one of the other ones, but not this one. The council. No, that was no. Could we just go back to the adopted terms of reference for this? Well, we haven't adopted. Sorry, we haven't adopted the terms of reference for this committee. So yes, okay. The current terms of reference provides, or the proposed terms of reference provides for currently the mayor plus 3 members plus your independent member. So that is the current proposal under the terms of reference. If there were to be members who wish to amend that membership, we would need to move the terms of reference first to move amendments. There are amendments.
Can I just clarify, if people recall, when we had the conversation, there was discussion about the numbers, and I don't recall us changing the numbers. There was conversation about would everyone get access to the documentation? My response to that was yes. Could people participate in the process? The answer to that was yes. So my recollection, no change to the number, because there was mayor plus 3 plus independent, with an understanding that people could participate in other ways.
Okay, Councillor McNish does have an amendment he wishes to move for this, so perhaps...
I'll split it.
Yeah.
Yep. Again, I'll see this as a complex. I'll split and we'll just put through item for the terms of reference. I assume that's what you'll be addressing, Councillor McNish, which
Put the
is...
motion.
Yep.
So moving part 1.
Yeah, so part 1 I'll move in the first instance that we, and then I'll split. I would assume we could, yes, I'll just split that into A and B. So we'll do part A, which includes 1, and part B is 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so, shall I go? Yep, so firstly we'll put forward that the council, part 1, can you just, sorry, highlight just part 1 if you may, thank you, just to save any confusion. So what we're doing is we're just voting on the terms of reference. Point of clarification?
Oh, no, I was just going to move because I just was going to do the same thing as we've done before.
Sure, sure. I'm just waiting for, just so we're clear what everyone is. Okay, so part 1 is that the council, pursuant to section 5.8 of the Local Government Act 1995, the Act established a Chief Executive Officer Selection Committee and adopts the terms of reference as per attachment 1. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor McNish, seconded Councillor Cox. Is there any opposition? There being opposition, Councillor McNish, do you wish to speak to your motion?
Just briefly, the same procedure as before, in accord with the legal advice and there it is. And I certainly hope the Mayor will be a part of the committee. He's nominated to be, which is a good thing. And I would like to see him be chair of the committee. But just tidying up this terms of reference, just so it ties in with the legal advice. Thank you.
So I think that's Councillor Mish moving the amendment.
Yes.
So moved. Do I have a seconder for that amendment? Councillor Ryan.
Also like to make a further amendment that consists of 5 elected members.
I need to first go through the vote for the first one. So we're not voting on 5, we're just voting on this amendment here first. Is there any opposition? There is opposition. Councillor Manish, do you wish to speak?
No, only that the council has recognised the importance of providing the legal advice we've got. My guess is I will attend to it. And as I said, I think it's entirely appropriate that the Mayor be part of this committee and more so that he chairs it. But I'm just doing this to tie in with what's happened before about the administrative nature of the legal advice and tightening up the terms of reference so it doesn't foul the legal advice. Thank you.
So, just checking, should I invoke my... Yeah, no, I'm just saying ability to be on this. It doesn't change the numbers.
No.
Yeah, it still remains as 4. Okay, thank you. Councillor Ryan, you're the seconder.
Yes, I agree because we did receive fairly lengthy legal advice and I think Councillor McNish is correct. But I'd like to change that 4 to an amended 5, if I may.
That's separate. There'll be a separate motion. We're just talking to this one.
Okay. Yep, I've nothing further to say.
Councillor Kennedy. You're speaking against, sorry.
Yes, thank you. I'm speaking against this one because I don't feel the legal advice really applies to this. So the legal advice says that the council cannot force an elected member onto a committee. But the terms of reference here, I think in the sake of efficiency, have just said we're going to put the Mayor on it. There's been no indication that the Mayor wishes to do an alternative motion and do this. Anyway, I won't confuse that because it's already confusing enough. So the Mayor's quite happy to be on this committee. He hasn't indicated that he doesn't want to be on this committee. And to have a look at this section that's being quoted here in the Act, it's simply just another pathway for the Mayor to get onto a committee. And both options are going to end up with the same result. So I'm quite happy with the substantive motion and feel we don't need to amend it. Thank you, elected members.
Thank you. A speaker for? Speaker against? Councillor McNish, your rebuttal.
Thanks, sir. When we do accounting, we just do a double entry accounting. So revenue in and cost out, you know. So that's the process. Might seem silly, but that's the way they structured it. I think it's appropriate to structure the council's terms of reference that complies with the legal advice, and then separately, the Mayor exercises his right or her right under the Act, makes the declaration of that case to the council as he has done tonight in public, so it's all nice and clean, and then that then flows through. The statutory right overrides the council's decision, but the terms of reference still is a council decision, and we should make that lawful. So, yeah, I appreciate, Councillor Kennedy, you're talking about pathway, but it's the double entry thing like the accountants do that we are seeing in action here where the statutory right will override the terms of reference, and the terms of reference should not foul the legal advice. Thank you.
Okay, therefore, I put the motion, or the amendment, shall I say, in front of you. All those in favour? That's Deputy Mayor Cox, Councillor Mueller, Councillor Love, Councillor McNeish, Councillor Dykstra, Councillor Ryan. All those against? Councillor Adams, Councillor Kennedy and Mayor Cronin. Motion's carried, 6-3. Now we move to the substantive motion. Councillor Cox, have you, sorry, Deputy Mayor Cox, have you spoken? You seconded this. Oh, I've got you down, hasn't it? Who was seconder? Sorry? Yeah, I did. I had you as seconder.
I'll reserve my right.
Okay, reserve your right. Okay, do we have a speaker against? Councillor Ryan.
I speak against, and I'd like to move an amendment, please.
And your amendment, please?
Change the 4 to a 5.
Okay, we'll just let that come up.
Just type it up. Just say amend. Can we go back to the terms of reference? So if you just type up amend 2.1B to 4. Oh, yeah. Hang on. No, that was sorry. Yeah. Councillor McNish has amended to 5.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that amendment? Councillor McNeish. Is there opposition?
You sure?
Do we have any opposition? I'll oppose. Councillor Ryan.
Yeah. I think this is a good result because the people who want to be on this committee, apart from Councillor Dykstra, have been through the process previously, and I think it's still fresh in our minds, what we did and what we probably shouldn't do in future, and I think it would be sad to see one of the members one of the councillors get kicked off for the sake of one position. I don't think it would be an unmanageable number, and I do recall that I've actually sat in on 2 CEO recruitment processes, and on the last occasion there were a number of councillors who sat in the room and listened to the goings-on as well. So I don't think one more person would derail the project. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor McNeish, do you wish to speak?
Thank you, sir. Look, similar sentiment, and I look at the applicants for the positions, the memberships. Mayor Cronin, entirely appropriate, and he should chair. Councillor Cox, Deputy Mayor, entirely appropriate. Myself with direct experience, I guess, and Councillor Ryan, previous Deputy Mayor. And then I look at Councillor Dykstra, who's got business experience and coming in with fresh eyes to see things that these other people who have been in local government and through the process may have forgotten or may not identify. And we do have an independent member, I think, who will be joining us on this No, we don't. That's the other one, isn't it? Oh, this is this one? Okay. And they will probably, don't want to preempt anything, be selected on their expertise, human resources or something like that. So I think the business perspective with fresh eyes, are refreshing, and we have accommodated membership increases where councillors have wanted to go on, and why not for this one? We have ascertained that they will need to be available for the intense period over the next 3 months, and in full knowledge of that, everyone's still happy to nominate. Councillor Love withdrew because she's very time poor in studying, and so I think we should accommodate this. Thank you.
Thank you. Speaker against? Councillors, for good governance, I believe that we need to keep this group succinct. With myself, 3 members and an independent, that's 5 people. We need to be able to work quickly and efficiently, and we have seen that and been warned about it, that we need to, if we have to have an interview, we need people to be there, and we can't be playing around with different dates. There may be people coming on from over east. I am aware of councillors who have commitments on certain days. They might be looking after people, they might have children, etc. With regards to the numbers have purely dropped because earlier on when we saw this, there was a lot more numbers on there, but people dropped because they saw that there was only 3 positions. It was clearly stated by the CEO and by governance that this process you would have full eyes to, full views, and those people who've sat down have said it's because of commitment issues. Now, if we have to put 6 people, pulling them all together, and there are no deputies, I remind you, there's no deputies, no one else can step into this position. We need this process to run as smoothly as possible, to be as efficient as possible, and therefore I would strongly suggest that by growing these numbers, good governance is at risk by doing this. So, councillors, I think if you've read the process, you've seen what we've got to go through. Yeah, I just believe that, and I think we've spoken quite clearly about this. It's not about that. We've got fresh eyes on it. We've got people who are experienced, but the whole council will be involved in this process. But to make sure that we can do the good governance, this is why we need the numbers we have. That's all I'd say. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. So I would agree. I think it's great to have another member on to add input. But I think what is more important is that this committee is temporary and we need to be as efficient as possible. Most committees have an odd number. If we're to put this to 5 and an independent member, that makes 6. So it means that we're always going to have a casting vote in there. So the only benefit I would see is in the input of that extra member. However, we do have a lot of expertise that are going to provide a lot of advice to this committee. But yes, it's temporary and we need to be efficient and quick. So I would not be supportive of adding 5 elected members to this committee. Thank you, elected members.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I see the relevance of not adding another person. If the reference, Mayor, was to my looking after my grandchild, that ceases fairly soon. So I will be available every day as I am, and I would really appreciate 5 people on this committee plus the extra person, and I think it would still be quite manageable. Thank you.
Therefore, I put the motion that's in front of us that the amendment that says this will change from 4 members to 5 members. All those in favour? That's Councillor McNeish, Councillor Dijkstra, Councillor Ryan, Councillor Adams. Those against? Mayor Cronin, Deputy Mayor Cox, Councillor Mueller, Councillor Love and Councillor Kennedy. So it is lost 5-4. 4-5, sorry. Okay, we now return to the substantive motion. Oh, sorry. So that's, we return to this motion, part of the motion now. 1. Sure. Mr. Murphy.
So the substantive motion is what's on the screen with the original amendment to change the terms of reference to reflect 4 elected members and 1 independent member.
Okay. So returning to this part of the motion, so we just had movement second.
So we're back to the substantive motion.
Yeah, but we had Councillor McNeish speak. Then Councillor Cox didn't. She reserved it, right?
Yep, and then we went straight to amendments. So we're back.
Okay, and Councillor Ryan rejected. So we're now Speaker for. Speaker against. Councillor Cox, you reserved your right.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. I continue to reserve my right.
Thank you. Councillor McNeish, your rebuttal.
Nothing to add, sir.
Thank you. Therefore, I now put the current motion, motion 1, to the vote. All those in favour? Carried 9-0, absolute majority. Now move on to part 2, 3 and 4. Sorry.
Point of clarification through the Mayor.
We've got a, sorry, yes, please.
Just making sure I get this right. We're doing part 3, 4 and is it just part 3 and 4 together?
We've got a vote
Part
now.
2, 3 and 4?
Sorry.
Oh,
we
okay,
need to
yep.
vote first and then, yep. So, do I close standing orders? 8.10?
Yep, so,
So I do a motion to,
I think we'll just, should we? We just need to go through the vote process.
yeah,
Don't worry about it.
sure. We'll just go to the vote.
So we have 4 nominations for 3 remaining positions, with the Mayor having elected under 5.104 to be part of this committee. So we have nominations from Councillor Cox, Councillor McNeish, Councillor Dijkstra and Councillor Ryan. You have a voting slip in front of you. Please select 3 of those people. Councillor Cox, Councillor McNeish, Councillor Dijkstra, Councillor Ryan.
And we need to select 3.
3.
Yeah. Someone on the committee. It's probably my fault. Should we do again? Well, you're in it. I think it was. Maybe it'd be better if there was just the three names on there.
We have elected Councillor Vindish, Councillor Cox and Councillor Dykstra.
Okay.
There was one voting slip who only ticked two names, so because they ticked a third name, which was Mayor Phil Cronin, who was already elected. So just for disclosure, there was one voting slip with only two valid votes on it. So we've only been able to count two valid votes for that one slip. But on that basis, though, we have Councillor McNish, Councillor Cox and Councillor Dykstra. Well, I don't know, because I don't know what they would have selected, so I don't know.
Doesn't matter. The
Doesn't
vote,
matter.
the
It's not
vote's
valid.
cast. Once the vote's cast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, there's no way of saying. So we've got Councillor Cox, Councillor McNish and Councillor Dykstra.
So now,
Do you want me to? Are you continuing the process?
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
presiding
sure.
member, yes, sorry. We now need a nomination for presiding member of that committee. Do we have any nominations for presiding member? Mayor Cronin, any other nominations for presiding member? No, we will put in presiding member as Mayor Cronin. Deputy presiding member, do we have any nominations for deputy presiding member?
I'll nominate as deputy presiding member.
Yep, Councillor Cox, do we have any other nominations? If not, we'll put in Councillor Cox. Okay. That completes the 3 points on the screen.
Acknowledge the membership of the committee includes the independent, so we'll just do that in the next section. Okay, now I'm now move part 2 of this motion, which includes items 2, 3 and 4. Do I have a mover? Sorry, I'll just...
Yep.
Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Cox, seconded Councillor Love. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you, councillors. We now move on to close the meeting. Yeah, but I need to close the meeting to the public.
Yes.
Yes. I wasn't going to quite close the meeting. So we now have a report of confidential, and so moving items on item 19, we have a report of confidential nature in accordance with section 5.232C of the Local Government Act 1995. In order to maintain the confidentiality of these items, I will seek a decision to close the meeting to members of the public and all staff. Do I have firstly, do I have a motion to close? Do I have a mover to close the meeting? Move Councillor Mueller, seconded Councillor Cox. Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0, no opposition. Could have opposed. Therefore, I will now close the meeting to the public and also cease live streaming. I'd like to remind
Have we gone live yet?
Yes, sorry. Councillors, please, we are now live. Just to say that item 19.1, the officer recommendation, was that the council appoint Lester Blades as the HR consultant to facilitate the CEO recruitment process, and this was carried 7-1. I now will close this meeting at 20:14, and we will move. I'll see you at the next ordinary council meeting will be on Wednesday, the 26th of November 2025. I now declare the meeting closed at 20:14. Thank you.